Hello, everyone. Welcome to what's going to be the last expert panel Q&A webinar in Keep Optimizing land for this year, because I know how busy you are all getting with the prep for Christmas. But we are ending on a massive topic this year. We are ending with TikTok 2022. And I should say, of course, the podcast is going to be carrying on. We're going to carry on with the podcast every week. We're just not going to be doing the live stream webinar thing that you're all tuning into now. And in this one, we are talking TikTok. TikTok is our topic throughout the month of October. We've been exploring it from multiple angles. We've been looking at the creator economy. We've been looking at influencers. We've been looking at ads, and also coming up tomorrow is our episode all about doing the organic side of TikTok, because there's lots of different ways you can make it work for your e-commerce brand at the moment. And to go even wider than that, and to join all the dots up, I guess, we are going to be doing this expert panel webinar today. I am shortly going to be joined by our two guests. Before that, though, I will say, please get your questions in early. I am anticipating we're going to get quite a few questions today, as it's a hot topic. We've seen some good people signing up to this, and there's a lot of things people seem to want to know about TikTok. So if you've got a burning question you are thinking about right now, ask the question now. Do not wait until the last 5 minutes, because we probably won't have time for me to ask that question of our experts. So, who are our experts? Well, very shortly, I'm going to be joined by Desatnik from #paid. And you can find out more about #paid at #paid.com, and Sven Muchow from Muchow Marketing. And you can get 20% off Sven's TikTok ads ebook if you're one of the first 10 people to use the link keepopt.com/Sven to go and check out his TikTok ad ebook. It's a very cool little offer there. And I am your host, Chloe Thomas, of the eCommerce MasterPlan business, and host of the Keep Optimizing and eCommerce MasterPlan podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the rest of the players too. And you can also find out more details of what we're up to and what we're putting out there at keepoptimizing.com. So our whole month of TikTok episodes will be live by tomorrow. 3 of them are live right now, but don't listen to them now. Stick here and enjoy the Q&A. Get your questions answered even and asked, and we will, and you catch up on those episodes a little later on. So let's meet our experts. Hello guys, how are you doing?
Can't complain. Having a lot of fun in this goofy sweater.
It is a very on-brand sweater.
It definitely is an on-brand sweater, and it's not a mistake. This is this is a conscious decision to wear a # sweater.
Excellent. Well, look, we're going to let you both, I gave very, very short intros, so we'll let you both introduce yourselves properly. Sven, we'll start with you. Please let the audience know a little bit more about you and how you work with TikTok.
Yeah, I don't have a cool sweater like that, though. I'm a little bit off-brand today.
Yeah, I can toss it to you, Sven. I can get you one for sure.
I think I need to work on it. So I'm Sven Muchow, like you said, founder of Muchow Marketing, and we have e-commerce businesses that aren't happy with how fast the organic reach is scaling, or with the reach overall, or with Facebook ads. I know it's a big topic, so a lot of brands aren't very happy with the results they're getting. So we help them with TikTok ads. We help them create the content, UGC content. We got our creators, scale it up, all those different things. And yeah, it's about me. I'm a digital nomad. Like on the personal side, I travel around a lot, love traveling. Currently in LA, and yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sven. And Danny, tell us a bit more about you and #paid, please.
For sure. I'm Desatnik. I work at #paid as the creator initiatives manager. Very simply put, #paid, we're an influencer marketing company. So there are 2 sides to our company, all around being able to find the right creators, execute an influencer marketing campaign, and then being able to measure it and take those measurements and put them back into your future campaigns to make them stronger tomorrow than they were today. What I do is essentially build our brand with creators. So it's everything from running a podcast to talking with creators all the time, writing articles with creators, throwing events with creators, speaking on behalf of creators. And within this creator realm, TikTok plays a very prominent part. So excited to be here, excited to chat.
Oh yeah, there you go, guys. We have a lot of knowledge here in this episode, in this webinar for you all. Mohammed, I have seen your question. I will be asking it shortly. Even anyone else who's got questions for Danny and Sven, please get them in. If you enter it via the chat functionality on YouTube or LinkedIn, where you're watching right now, that will come through to me and I will ask it, but ask it early so we manage to actually have time to answer your questions. Please everybody, do not wait until the last 5 minutes, because that makes me very stressed trying to get it all answered, quite frankly. And then you're not going to get high quality answers either. Right, before we get to Mohammed's question, guys, you were just telling me before we got live that there's a new ad format coming out. Sven, you're kind of all over this, and it's not necessarily yet available, but it's coming very soon. Can you make sense of it for us, please?
Yeah, so TikTok has been talking about launching TikTok Pulse. That's what the new feature is called since, I believe, around May or so. But they haven't come out with it until now. It's going live now, anytime soon. I don't know when exactly, but like talking about next week type of timeline. And what it is just you can now advertise in front of the top 4% of videos. I think it's in each category or maybe overall. I'm not sure about that information right now. But in the top 4% of videos, and you can put your ad in front of that. And basically, it gives the creator 50% of the revenue. And well, obviously, you the other half. So it's a new form of advertising. I compared a little bit to YouTube, where you can target certain videos. And TikTok seems to be doing the same now. So it's on one side for the brands to have another form of advertising, another placement form, and for the creators a way to monetize further. But obviously, it's just for the top 4% of videos, so it won't affect all creators. And the creators also have to have at least 100,000 followers. That's another requirement. So it's really more towards the top creators, not to the general creator, I believe.
So it seems to me from the advertiser's perspective, and Danny, I'll come to you for the creator's perspective on this in a minute, but it seems to me that as a brand, this is likely to be more about brand awareness than conversion, because the targeting doesn't feel like it's going to be that precise.
It's hard to say it without having it tested, right? With ads, I don't like to say like, hey, it's only for brand awareness. I think definitely brand awareness, but I can't imagine if you put it in front of the right video, it will be similar to Google Ads on YouTube, where also choose certain videos. So I think depending on if it's by category, if it's top 4% by category, that it'll probably give you more options to choose from, versus top 4%, it might be a lot of lower quality videos in terms of advertising.
So it's another one of those ones which happens across all the ad platforms, which is, this sounds cool, but until you give us the detail and we can test it. Good to know it's coming up, though, most definitely. Danny, from the creator's perspective, this must be quite exciting for the larger creators, because it's suddenly going to open up a new income stream.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm a little skeptical, truthfully, and I'll say that up front. I think that YouTube has been the premier platform in being able to actually support creators, allow creators to make some type of income without any brand deals for as long as I can remember. And here comes TikTok. I mean, here comes YouTube saying that, hey, well, I think it's in 3 or 6 months, they're going to be sharing ad revenue with creators for YouTube Shorts. And so that was like, oh, this is game changing. Now, like you might actually be able to be have a sustainable career on YouTube once again, because Shorts is blowing up. They're not moving towards short form, but they're including short form with YouTube Shorts. My guess is this is TikTok's, oh shit, like we have to do something too, and let's see how this can work. The thing is, the environments aren't. It's not really apples to oranges. Like the TikTok environment, I don't know how conducive the TikTok environment is to the traditional ad creative. I think there needs to be a lot more massaging that gets done, and this is what I've seen in the past. Sven, I don't know, you definitely have a lot more experience with the actual tactical numbers and tactical campaigns, but if an ad on TikTok doesn't really look like a TikTok, it's very easy to call it out, and it's very easy to swipe up on. Will it work? I hope. It definitely will be great for creators. And to Sven's point, if the targeting can be categorized, so at least there's some category relevance based off of videos being shown, and TikTok has an amazing algorithm, so I wouldn't assume it wouldn't be in that way, then it could very well work out. But I guess we will have to see.
Yeah, it sounds very similar to, I've got the grey hairs to show here. I've been through, the birth of Google ads and the birth of Facebook ads, and we're getting that whole at the boardroom level. They're playing for tit for tat, and we'll see if that is of any use to any of us or not. And then you get these rumors, then it slowly rolls out, and then as we were saying earlier, until you've got access and you can actually see what the targeting really is, and you can actually see how it performs, it could be anything could happen. But it's always exciting to be on a platform that's evolving. I suppose that's the good side of it, isn't it? It's good to be on a platform that's evolving. Right. Before we get totally boardroom focused and talk conspiracy theories and all the rest of it, let's go to the first question we've had, which is from Mohammed Saleh Ashgar. Thank you very much for your question. It is a super focused question, which you are welcome to expand upon. But Sven, I guess I'd come to you first on this one. How much minimum conversion rate should be expected from TikTok ads in a beauty category?
Yeah, so I think the beauty category is relatively competitive. So you need actually really good creatives to make it in the beauty category. But once you nail that, I think to have a winning campaign to scale something up, it usually starts I assume kind of like Facebook ads starts at, I'd say, around 2% conversion rate up to 6 or so. It's still cold traffic after all. Obviously, the conversion rate doesn't necessarily depend on the ad itself as much, but a lot on the website, right? Or conversion rate optimization and all that. So it's not necessarily as much of a TikTok ads thing, but more of a website thing. How good is your landing page? But with that being said, basically, I think the question is really just, do TikTok ads convert? Because I've had a brand the other day and they said, okay, we're losing money on it right now, but we're fine with it because we build brand awareness and make the money back on Amazon. And I looked at them, I was like, why would you lose money on it? Like you definitely make conversions with it. It's just like, it works for me better than Facebook ads. So yeah, you can definitely get conversions from it starting at 2% upwards, I'd say, for winning ads. And obviously then you have the losing ads when you test, etc. They obviously be below, but it depends a lot on your website, really. It's not like a ads question as much.
Yes, it is one of the most marvelous answer in all marketing. It depends. You've got to do your testing, but I guess as you're reading between the lines of the question, you've got to test it, and it's worth testing at the moment. We're not saying beauty category, ooh, dangerous space. This is definitely worth testing for brands at the moment.
Yeah, it's just been very competitive across the board, right? Same for Google and Facebook with beauty. It's just a competitive niche.
And Danny, I know you're not deep in the world of the ads, you're more on that creator side of it, but are you seeing people getting good results in the beauty space with the more influencer side of things?
Yeah, I think the thing that I keep seeing that pops up and that keeps being really competitive in terms of creative on TikTok is when the video or when the creative relates to the product but engages someone's emotions through tangential means. So for example, it's very easy to say, hey, we've got a great, I don't know, we've got like great lipstick. It like stays on for what, I don't even know the specs of lipsticks, but like there's a bunch of these specs, like, you should, I've seen on these people, definitely buy it today or whatever the call to action is, versus if you know that, again, how do you build emotional resonance first? And then to Sven's point, because it is such a competitive category, how do you build the emotional resonance first so that the next time the ad pops up, it's, oh, right away, yeah, I know this brand. But how do you do it in a way that's a little bit more interesting? You take it more tangential. So could you get a makeup artist who actually isn't like an artist to use your makeup and create some incredible piece on someone's face as like this like really interesting ad spot. And then if you're trying to explain the value props, then it's a watch, it stays on for so long and it's been like a 12-hour process, and maybe you're throwing water and dust and all that stuff at it and it doesn't get impacted. There's definitely different ways to go about, I think, creating creative. But on TikTok, what I've seen to continuously work well is how do you take your product but spin it so that emotional resonance leads in some type of tangential way. It's more fun, it's more unique, and then later on with targeting, I think it gives you a better opportunity to convert.
I mean, I think that for me is the big lesson out of our kind of month-long intro to TikTok ads. TikTok in general, be it influencers, be it working with creatives, be it organic, be it ads, is if the creative isn't right, i.e. it doesn't feel like it's a TikTok piece of creative, and if the creative isn't ticking the emotional boxes, it's not interesting, it's not funny, it's not, appealing to someone, then you're dead in the water. Sven, you see the hard and fast numbers of this with the ad side of things. Is it all about the creative on TikTok? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say, without like, don't quote me later, but I'd say like 80% or so, like definitely the vast majority. Some people even say 90%, some say 70, but I'd say like 80% or so, the vast majority is creative, because you can basically have a great TikTok ad, a great creative, and have no idea about media buying. You just kind of go into your TikTok ads manager and do whatever, just set it up, and you still see some results. Versus when you have a bad creative and media buying, you have the best strategy, it's not going to help you because the creative isn't good.
So what, therefore, guys, would be for someone who's doing their first, spending their first month working on TikTok, let's not say their very first piece of content, because all the tips in the world are going to be needed for that one. But for someone who's, committing to work on TikTok for the next, from now to the end of the year, so let's say through November and December, what are the things they need to focus on to get their creative right? What are the key things you'd suggest they do? Either of you can jump in on this one.
Yeah, I would say it's probably, from what I've seen and from the people that I know, who've been successful in this realm, I would say it's two things. It's one, it's finding the right personalities, and then figuring out what buckets you could potentially test. So if you're a makeup brand, and yes, it's very obvious that you can test what are your core specs, but then what else can you do? Can you do it in more of a comedic way? Can you do it in more of a collaborative way? Can you do it in a tangential way where it's not directly applying makeup in the way that maybe your consumer would understand it, but can you do something to, as I was saying before, build that emotional resonance? So how do you, it's the two steps of what buckets are you going to test, and then who are you going to test it with? And I think this is probably the hardest part, is like, can you find the right person to run this creative, to create this creative for you? And so I wouldn't call this influencer marketing. I would just, again, regardless if you're pre-TikTok and you're trying to create some type of creative for an ad campaign, like you're going to a production house and you're going to go to their creative team. So who is that creative person, whether it's someone on your team or someone that you hire who you feel has good storytelling, who you feel can speak to a camera and actually deliver a message well. If you have those two in place, then I feel like actually being able to test creative and see true results, you put yourself in a good position. But again, I come at it from more of a creative perspective, and Sven's a lot more in the weeds actually executing campaigns. So Sven, what have you seen?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's all about one, testing the creators. Some creators deliver differently than others. It's just about maybe their tone of voice, maybe their energy on camera, maybe they just don't get as hyped about this beauty product than about something else, right? And then two, the creative as well, the structure of it, like Danny said. So you wanna have different angles. Let's say you have a video where it's like, hey, here's 3 things I learned about beauty, for example, and then on the third point, it's kind of like introducing the product, those type of things. Then you have another video where it's just kind of more straight up, hey, TikTok made me buy this video. Then there's a lot more angles, and just like testing all these different things and see what type of video works in your case. And for that, I usually just advise people to go to TikTok Creative Center or another resource like TikTok, like PP ads, and just look at a lot of TikTok videos, take them apart, look at their structures, what are they doing, kind of apply them to your product and see which one works, and just test through all of them. So, you don't have to start at zero. I'd say in the first month, the most important thing is research.
And the one thing that I'd add on to that I've seen work well recently is finding let's just use the term creators, finding creators who can speak to the camera really well, because you get two values from them. If I can speak really well to a camera, I can also speak really well if I'm not on camera, and you can create more of like a POV or a narration type creative. If you're hiring someone that can only really do that narration, and they're not good in front of a camera, not actually able to hold the attention, then you're gonna have to find two people. And if someone can speak to the camera and deliver a strong message, they can probably narrate a strong message. They can probably showcase a strong message as well. So two birds, one stone versus having to find two different people.
And I think even more important, not hiring creators that only do trends. Because there's a lot of creators when you go through TikTok Marketplace anywhere that, they get 30, 40, 50,000 followers, whatever. And it's because all they did was dances and trends and stuff. But that, won't sell your product. They won't be able to deliver, like Danny said. They won't have that storytelling ability.
Love that. So that's some brilliant tips, guys. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to twist this slightly because I said November, December-y time. I'm taking the punt that the people watching this as it kind of happens and over the next couple of days are those who are going, Christmas, 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 Black Friday, Black Friday, Black Friday. How do I get my holiday season sales in? So normally I kind of go, well, how quickly can we make this work? But I'm going to structure the question slightly differently for you guys today, partly inspired by Danny's find weird ways to use your makeup products. So we're about a week away from Halloween. We're about 4 weeks away from Black Friday, and we're about 8 weeks away from Christmas last order dates. So do we have time to create anything on TikTok that will deliver sales for Halloween, Black Friday, Christmas? So should we ignore Halloween and go straight for Black Friday? Should we ignore both of them and just go Christmas? If you had someone coming to you today going, I need to make money off TikTok in the next 8 weeks, which event do I start with? Where would you start? Danny, you're grinning, so I'm picking on you first.
No, I'm grinning because my answer is not going to be ads. So I don't know if I should go first.
No, that's cool. Because we are about the whole of TikTok, organic, creators, influencers, all of it's good today.
Yeah, live streaming. Live stream your product, like run your own QVC channel. Live streaming is super underrated on TikTok still. They push strong live streams all the time. I think the idea is like if you can hold attention for what was the number I heard? I think it was 15 minutes. If you can hold attention for 15 minutes, then again, TikTok's only looking to push content that they feel other people might like and they feel other people will spend more time on the platform. So maybe Halloween, it might be tough. But if you're looking at Black Friday, if you're looking at Christmas, if you can find someone who's engaging and you can set up a little programming once a day, once every 2 days, I don't think there's a right cadence. I haven't seen that many brands doing it. And I know I have a lot of friends that will stumble upon live streams on TikTok. So there's two things with that. One, you hold attention. You can really create that emotion, that connection. You can talk to the audience that is engaged, but you can use it to crowdsource ideas. So if you're doing that over the next 3-4 weeks, you can use it to crowdsource ideas for your ad, for your copy, for whatever it may be for the next 4 weeks come Christmas. And again, I think it's super untapped. I'll find myself watching live streams, and I think it's amazing. And there is a massive audience for it. The only call out I'll say is that you do not control where that audience lives. You don't know if they're in Pakistan or Australia or South Africa or Canada. But for the time being, haven't seen many people do it. And I know TikTok's trying to push it a lot more to, again, create that connection with their creators. And if you put on live streams, if live streams become a lot more available, then it does lead to a greater connection, which means more money, more time spent, all that good stuff for TikTok. That's where I would focus if I'm trying to go outside of the typical answer.
I think I love the way that there's two things I love about your answer. One is that it's kind of like learning and research whilst making an impact, because you're getting that direct feedback and you're working out what works, which products sell, all that kind of thing. But I feel like in the West, we've been talking about the potential of live stream and, you know, running your own QVC channel, doing webinars about your products. I feel like we've been talking about it since pre-pandemic. And it, despite the fact it does billions in the Far East and Asia, it's
Definitely.
not yet hit. And I think, you know, there's certainly, it's just going to take one piece to get it right, and it's going to go boom in the West, in the US, the UK, and Europe. And I feel like potentially TikTok could be the one that does it, especially, you know, for smaller brands are going, hi, I'm the founder, I designed this because of this. We've only got 20 in stock for Black Friday, you can grab them now. That type of stuff could be really, really powerful. So I love that
Yeah,
answer.
the thing that I'll say quickly on that is don't only look at live streams from a I'm trying to sell my product today mentality. I don't think it works super well. Again, unless you have this really entertaining and interesting session, live stream session that will lead and people will be really interested, or you're pulling other people in the stream and you're building characters out of it. But I think from a build awareness, build perspective, build this attachment with an audience such that you can build your following, such that when you do not, you will be putting down ads and you will be paying for a paid media strategy. It just gives you a better opportunity to already have, let's call it some type of mind share in an audience's mind, with the audience you're trying to go after. But it could work it could work. I just don't have any stats, so I can't, to Sven's point, I can't actually be quoted to say if it will or it won't.
I actually do have some stats to back you up on that,
Go.
because I had a friend that I don't remember when it was, but there was the TikTok live streaming shopping feature was out for a while in the US before they took it back, where you actually had like a button with it or whatever for some accounts. And that must have been like 5 months ago, maybe around that timeline. I remember one of my friends, he has it's like a Sharpie, and it's a wood burning Sharpie basically. You know, it's like a Sharpie drawn wood or whatever. Then you put heat on it and it burns in. So it's like a new, you know, chemical but not non-poisonous thing instead of using like a big wood burner. And he did a live stream. He told me how well it was working for him. If I knew anything about it coming back, because he made like 3.5 grand or whatever on one live stream, like an hour or so, you know. So definitely works, I think. I don't know why they took it back, to be honest, because I don't know, maybe it just worked for him, but I know for him for a fact that it worked.
Nice.
I guess it's
there you go, guys. Potential.
The show, yeah, like the show not tell mentality. Like, I can show you this piece of clothing, but I feel like you have to be there in person. I feel like there still is a bit of a disconnect between seeing someone on screen versus seeing someone in person. And do you come to TikTok to buy clothes? I don't know. But Sven, maybe on that point, it's a more niche and focused like DIY community. And they're always looking for better ways to, whether it's create art or be able to get to the outcome that they need. And this is hey guys, let me show you in real time exactly what happens and how to use it. Oh, and it's only $30. Like there's no magic. There's no magic to it.
As Sven was explaining it, I was like, that is the perfect QVC type product.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to work in that live stream format.
Yeah, it's a lot about also in general TikTok, and especially TikTok ads, those problem solving products, right? Because that's a product where you like, it solves the problem of having a big wood burning tool and all that stuff is super easy at home, versus beauty clothes, for example. Like basically the most thing you can do, like Danny said earlier, you can sell it in a really cool story aside from what the clothes are, but it doesn't really solve a problem, right? So it's a little bit harder to sell. Usually those problem solving products, they're a lot easier to sell on TikTok. I'd say anywhere, but especially on TikTok.
And Sven, to go back to my question, if you had someone saying, I need to make money on TikTok now, would you be saying, yeah, let's try something for Halloween, let's try something for Black Friday, or let's try something for Christmas?
Yeah, I think it's hard to pick one. I like the live streaming idea a lot. I think that one might be more towards the Christmas timeline, like longer term, or in general long term. I will say in terms of ads, for example, So Halloween is definitely too close for anything, I think, because that's a week away. Organic won't work that quickly. I mean, maybe you have a video blow up with a Halloween trend, but I'd say ads towards Black Friday. You can get some testing in before that maybe, but usually it takes 2-3 weeks until you're ready. You need the UGC, all that kind of stuff, research. So in terms of ads, it's more Black Friday's cutting close. If you start now for ads, it works. Christmas definitely still on the timeline. I think the biggest chance I see, let me think. I think obviously ads is a big one, but some type of organic strategy with it for sure too. Because I think around Christmas, obviously ads go up in cost because everybody starts advertising, even on TikTok. So I think having both some type of organic, whether that's a live stream or any other organic, and also having paid, I think becomes super important. So you don't rely on one of those. Because especially with Christmas, there's so many trends and just like types of videos you can do organically that you definitely shouldn't leave out organic. But I also don't think, with the way Black Friday and Christmas scale, you can go up to whatever the number is, $50,000 in one day with ads. I don't think we should completely dismiss ads either. So it's really a mix. I don't think there's necessarily a best tool.
But so what we're saying is there is still time to leverage TikTok, even if you're at 0 right now, to make an impact on Black Friday and Christmas, but almost certainly not on Halloween unless you've got something that makes pumpkin carving super easy that you can live stream, basically.
Yeah, I think even Black Friday, like I said, is kind of close with anything like organic and ads, because you need some testing. Whether that's organic, you test different formats of videos, different what works, or if it's ad, it takes a while to get the UGC back, and also test different formats, because obviously you won't have great ads from day one. So Black Friday's getting close. I'd say another week, and it's getting really close, too close maybe. But Christmas for sure. Christmas, there's still time.
Cool. Danny, you in agreement or not?
Yeah, no, I would say so. I think that at times it might feel like with new platforms and new creatives and new trends that the game has changed. But I think just from following Sven on socials and hearing what he's saying here, I'd agree that I think at the end of the day, the principles are the same. You're always trying to create some type of marketing funnel. Can you build here, like the buzzword in 2022 is, can you build a community? You can't build a community in 2, 3, 4 weeks, even 6 months. Like, it's going to take time. Here, can you generate sales tomorrow from an ad? Maybe there's some wizard who can, but at the end of the day, it's like you're to Sven's point, you're building your top of funnel. There's a bit of organic understanding of your product or of your brand, and then it slowly starts to filter through. Or to Sven's older point, like last point when we were speaking about live streams, yeah, if something solves a problem, you might be able to skip a couple steps because you can show and tell really in an interesting way on TikTok that right away it's, oh, I need this. I don't care what the brand is. But I think principles stay the same throughout history. So I would tend to agree.
Cool. So let's twist the question again then. For those who are listening and watching and who are thinking they ought to ask their questions now, guys, if you want to ask questions, get them in the chat functionality now for me. But the question I was trying to come around to was, for those who are going, right, from all I've learned this month, from all I've learned from other places I've been learning about TikTok, I can see this working really well for my brand over the long term. What should I start doing now to set my stall out to get me ready to learn what I can, targeting the big success next year rather than let's try and get it all now? What would you be doing to lay the groundwork for a successful 2023 strategy at the moment?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I would just start and randomly test ads, see what works and what doesn't during Christmas time. Like I said, usually ad costs are higher. And I don't know if that makes sense. It could, depending on the budget, obviously, if you have a bigger budget. But in general, I think in this case, I just start with organic, getting familiar with the platform. It's basically testing but free. So I just, kind of spend time on TikTok and test different types of videos for your organic account. And then, you have some background if you want to go into ads next year or not. But then you have some background for the upcoming year if you want to start advertising, what TikTok feels like already, or maybe more skilled to judge influencers. If you want to do influencer marketing, you're better able to actually judge if it's a good creator, if it's a good influencer or not. So I'd say like just building up the knowledge, just spending time on the platform the next 2 months or so before Christmas, maybe doing some TikToks yourself, posting it, and then going all in when the time comes next year.
So learn your processes, learn how you're going to create, learn the organic side, learn what the competitors are doing, but don't get into the high cost per acquisition that is the Christmas advertising market.
Yeah, unless you have a big budget, then it's fine. You can test already. But like you said, if you really focus on launching like next year, not this year, then it doesn't really make sense to be spending money on ads this year, I suppose.
But lots to learn. Danny, what would you suggest?
Yeah, I'd echo like a pretty similar sentiment. I think the question to ask is, what do you want to be known for in 2 years? I don't think TikTok's going away in the next couple of years. Yes, there's always a threat. If there's a new platform popping up in 2018, we probably would have never said, "Oh, TikTok's going to become what it did." But one, asking yourself that, so that naturally, or that's conducive to a long-term mindset. The other thing that I would say too is kind of lower your expectations on TikTok. It might come as a bit of a surprise, but we've been through this hype cycle over the past 3 years, and people have been growing rapidly, and everyone's just been getting ridiculous amounts of followers and maybe tons of sales off of like random trends. Now that TikTok is essentially in its mainstream form, I wouldn't say that it becomes as easy to just garner the following, and it's going to take a good amount of legwork to get to the point where you have a solid brand. To Sven's point, you have a solid process based off of the creative that you're working with, the creators that you're working with, if that is who you are going to work with. But comes back to that question. It's like that Simon Sinek. You're asking why. It's like, what do you want to be known for? Because it's too easy to get caught up in hype and try to do trends and try fit in. But if that's what you're doing today, then you're just not focusing on tomorrow. And I think there's a massive opportunity to keep carving out different niches in the TikTok world, in social media in general. Just don't be caught up by all the successes that are happening today and all the hype that's happening today. Look at like, what do you want to be known for tomorrow?
I also think it's important to add the maturity TikTok has reached. Like a year ago or so, maybe 1.5 years ago, like Danny said, trends were a lot bigger. Now it's a lot about original sound and people actually talking in the videos, not as much about, the funny cat videos with sound anymore. I mean, obviously, they work too. Cats always work, but yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's still a lot of potential on the TikTok platform, but that what we need to make sure we're doing is we're now building that strategic vision if we want that long-term success. Well, look, guys, that has been fantastic getting to hang out with you both again. Thank you for bringing all your insight to our session today. I'm now going to say goodbye to Danny and Sven and wrap up for everybody who's watching. So thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us, Chloe.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was, she says, failing to add the information she needs to the screen. That was Danny and Sven. Danny from #paid, and you can find out more about #paid at #paid.com. And Sven Muchow from Muchow Marketing. And you get 20% off Sven's TikTok ads ebook if you are one of the first 10 people to use the link keepop.com/Sven. There's an outside chance you will still manage to get there before those codes have run out. So, if you're watching the replay, give it a try. You never know, you might succeed with that offer. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the questions. I hope you've learnt more from this. There's opportunity for the holiday season. There's a lot of opportunity for 2023. And if you want that, get learning the platform now, get testing, get learning your systems, your processes, and how you're going to be putting that creative together. Talking about Black Friday, our Black Friday episode is live. I'm joined on it by 7 e-commerce experts sharing their top tips for Black Friday success. And it's an eclectic bunch of advice. You can go straight to that episode via keepopt.com/BF if you want to grab our Black Friday episode. And we actually have one more TikTok episode going live tomorrow, which is our organic TikTok advice. And in November, we are shifting our focus to talk about customer experience, because customer experience in all its shapes and forms is one of those things I strongly believe you're going to need to get good at in 2023 if you want great levels of success. You can be an also ran without it, but you really do need to get your customer experience in order if you want to see great results. We are covering it from a myriad of different angles. We're going to start off with email marketing and SMS automations. We're then going to talk delivery, such an important part of the customer experience. We'll then talk website copy generally. We'll be talking a bit about storytelling, about us pages, all that kind of good stuff with an awesome copywriter. Then we're going to go deep into product pages specifically. And then we're going to wrap it all up by, we're going to talk customer service. And Ty Gibbons is awesome at customer service, so she'll be taking us through that. And as I said, no Q&A webinar next month because you guys are kind of busy, so I thought we'd skip it. Basically, thanks so much for tuning in. Please do go and have a listen to the Keep Optimizing podcast. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other places. And you can listen to the episodes with Danny and Sven to get all their great advice about how to make TikTok work for you. Thanks so much for being here today. Bye, everybody.